Hello, hello, hello. I have not even talked to Hikosaemon, so I'm way behind schedule here. I'm hoping he's somewhere in the near vicinity, though I have not. Usually we have our co-host on standby, but to be honest, I don't know. I don't see him in here. Um, I'm not sure if I'm doing anything wrong. But hi guys, it's Victor. Give me a break, man. And yeah, welcome to our 2.5 Oyajis. Though I'm not sure where Hikosaemon is. I just to be fair, I just got on. I just got on. Hey Steve Miller. Steve Miller, dude. Laura, oh, Odie. We have all the big houses, the big names in the house today. We have double Dans. Danny Lilly and Danny H. Danny H. Atomic Dong. Atomic Dong. I'm sorry. Atomic Tom. But Atomic Dong would be a pretty cool name. Oh, there he is. Oh, here. Hey.
I was waving my hands vigorously. Atomic Dong. Wow, that's a winning YouTube channel name.
We have a new member today. And
By the way, Victor, you need to plug your headphones in.
okay, sorry. Okay.
Getting some feedback there. I'm gonna put that in here. Also, there's the chat.
You know how it is.
So yeah, you can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Great. Apparently, I'm not.
Perfect. I could hear my own voice echoing back dramatically before, as happens. This is a 2.5 Oyajis tradition that I always remind you at the beginning of the stream to plug in your headphones.
Okay. Hello.
I appreciate you wearing the old failed web app channel. Well, I love making it, and I actually think those are awesome TVs. I do appreciate you wearing that. But yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to talk to you about that, but I didn't know how to bring it up.
Just say it. Yeah, it was great. I never figured out how to monetize it. It was costing me. How much was it costing me? To build it cost a bit of money, and also just to keep it running cost quite a bit of money. And so I just decided at some point, it was a bit painful. It took I let it go for about a year longer. I just let people keep using it and kept using it myself, even though it was probably costing not quite $100 a month, but it's probably $40 or $50 a month. And I just had to shut it down. I never figured out how to go about getting ads and getting. I didn't want to charge people for it, especially when I saw functionality on YouTube start to come out that did a lot of the things that I was trying to fix. So it was a really good exercise learning how to do it. I'd love to do it again, maybe when I get some more time and I retire or something like that. But yeah, with AI, who knows? I mean, it's going to be easier to make apps and so on and figure out how to monetize them and stuff. So yeah.
Speaking of AI and apps, and by the way, I mean, hands down to trying something like amazing like this. This is something that I think takes a lot of guts to try. And yeah, I'm really, yeah, like it was a sensitive topic with me because I always thought I want to kind of ask him about it, but I don't want to make him feel bad about it too. So
No, I mean, there's a feeling bad aspect to it, but I think I'm at peace with it. It was a great learning exercise, and I'd be happy to share. You know what I should actually do? I can't even remember myself, but I suppose I haven't really done an analysis of it, so I'd be happy anytime to talk about it. But yeah, no, it's I lost a fair bit of my savings on it, but I feel like I learned a lot from it as well. So I'll just take that as the takeaway. Victor, I think you're on mute.
Settings.
Oh, you're back now. Oh, and now.
Okay, is it okay now? Hello.
It's dramatically loud now, but yeah.
Oh. Okay, I'll just whisper. But all failure leads to success. Everyone who succeeds fails a bunch of times first. So, it's definitely a good learning experience. Yeah.
That's cool. How you been, man? It's been a while since we've done the 2.5 Oyajis.
In a while, I've been feeling great psychologically. Is that the right word? No, no. Say shintekiri. Because my back was fucked up.
Yeah.
And you know when you're physically down, you know your whole you don't have
Yep.
any yadoki. You don't feel like doing anything because you can't do anything. So I don't know if did I tell you about my maybe I did. Maybe I told you about my self healing journey.
Your self-healing journey. I didn't realize
No,
this was going to be that kind of a podcast,
no,
but yes, please go.
it's very simple. So I basically had sciatica, which means a nerve was squeezed
Oh,
in between
compressed. Yeah.
compressed between my lumbars, my
Yeah.
discs. And I went to the doctor and they took an X-ray and they said, "Well, you know, you're getting old and maybe you're lifting too much. We don't know exactly what the cause is, but they said you should go to therapy." And they you know, upsold me to therapy, which most of the government pays for. It's only like it's like $6, $5 every time you go. It's nothing. It's very, very
Yeah.
little. But I didn't see any improvement after 3 weeks. So after the third week, I asked the guy. I said, you know, and they had these young people squeezing me and pushing me and you know trying to stretch me. I said, "Is this going to help me?" And they said, "No, it's going to take a long time. You're going to have to really do a lot of stretching by yourself." So I thought this is just a waste of my time. But I understood the problem, which was my nerves were being squeezed between my bones and my backbone. So I just thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to stretch my backbone. So I went to Amazon.
Yeah.
I bought 2.5 kilogram. It was Amazon Day, so it was like
Yeah.
August 17th.
Oh, Prime Day. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It must have been July 17th.
July. Yeah. Yeah.
And I bought 2.5 kilogram ankle weights.
Okay.
And I went to the gym and I hung from the bar.
Yeah.
And I could literally hear my bones separating from themselves.
Wow.
Pump, 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 pump. And I was like, oh, and automatically my pain was gone.
Wow, just that one thing, just once.
And every day, yeah, but every day since then, I've been going back and redoing it.
Yeah.
And now I'm hanging and I'm doing exercises using the 2.5 kilograms, and I'm moving I'm exercising using those 2.5, and I'm doing pull-ups doing the 2.5, which is now 5 kilograms, you know, because 2.5 each. So I'm doing pull-ups, and I'm just using them.
Yeah.
But the first thing I do every day that I go to the gym, and for the last 2 days only, I have not used them. But I've been swimming also, and so that's another thing. But anyway, I'm exercising. I feel great. My pain is gone. So I feel great.
Great.
When you feel great, you feel great. You know, it's just psychologically. You know, when something's slowing you down, you know.
There's some questions for you in the comments there. DJ Sunnyside Up is asking, did you use a back roller?
No, I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah.
I see them at the gym, but no.
And Believe in Yourself is asking, did you gain any height or regain any height from that?
It's too soon to tell, but probably I would say I've at least slowed down my shrinking because as we get older we shrink a little bit. So
yeah. Well, I mean, that technique it's well known to stretch out the back and maybe gain some height ever since like the Spanish Inquisition. I think it's been a popular way.
Dude, let me just to show you. I mean, I'm doing pull-ups now.
Yeah,
I'm doing pull-ups at 2.5 kilogram on each
like the number.
5 kilograms. So 5 kilograms, which is what 9 pounds, every week now. Once a week only, but I'm doing a bunch, and I'm doing every position.
Wow.
I'm doing pull-ups, I'm doing neutral, I'm doing chin-ups, and I'm doing like 70 a week. It's a lot.
It's funny. You are. I feel like you're setting a very good example with this. It's sort of like it's become all the health podcasts and all the experts I know who are looking at how to be healthy in old age and all this sort of thing emphasize that the most important thing is muscle mass. You get to like 50 or whatever, and it's really hard to create new muscle mass. You just sort of lose it. So the idea of getting as much muscle mass as possible, and that's for things like when you're 80 or 90. and just like where just standing up and sitting down can cause injuries and stuff like that. The more muscle that you start with, that's better. And so you're doing it right, and I'm kind of doing it wrong.
You're great. You're fucking kicking ass, man. You're running. I'm impressed. Every time I see your Instagram of you running, I'm like, wow, this guy's in great shape.
Well, I am in good shape, but I'm in good cardio shape. I'm not building muscle mass. I'm being kind of lean. So I'm really happy with where I'm at, that I'm really fit and I'm kind of lean and I'm in good shape. But I'm not necessarily, what you're doing is actually what the current wisdom is. Like to be healthy long into life and to, have a healthy, be 100 years old and jumping, going into the senior Olympics and stuff like that. You're doing the right thing and I'm not. Technically, I'm doing stuff that's going to hurt my knees. And
but you're still, I'm sorry, how old are you? 40? 45?
I'm 48.
48, okay. So, yeah, maybe when you get to 50, you should start concentrating more on muscle mass.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing, I hate weights. I hate the gym. I so respect that you're able to do it. And I'd love to be able to do like pull-ups and stuff like that. So, but what I do, I do like press-ups and sit-ups. I'm old school. So I do like body weight exercises, but
body weight exercises are great, very impressive. Yeah. Well, that's what pull-ups are. Pull-ups are body weight exercises, which is, for me, pull-ups have always been the weakest, the most difficult thing to do. So.
Yeah, well, they're super hard. Like not many people can even do one, let alone multiple. Yeah. So much respect. By the way, on your rehab journey, I think I mentioned to you as well. I had for more than a year a frozen shoulder.
Yes, you were fucked up.
And it was it really was. You talk about like when you're in pain and you're just in pain all the time and you forget feeling normal, the goodness of feeling normal. This idea that when you feel miserable, you feel like, oh, I just wish I couldn't feel anything and I just felt normal, which would be wonderful. But you don't appreciate that except for when you feel miserable.
Oh, it's so true.
But I pretty much lost my left arm, and it was like constantly when it was just in pain, even just like moving around, I couldn't get it where it wasn't in pain.
And your left arm is your self-pleasuring arm, so.
Well, it's one I have to use both, but yes, it certainly is important just for holding.
Girth and length, I understand.
So. Yeah, when I finally went to the rehab that you gave up at 3 weeks, and I've been going since January this year, and it's now, I've just done the final, I think I'm in the final month of it. I've just about got everything back. I'm back now. I do press-ups comfortably again, which I just started doing from about a month ago.
You mean push-ups?
Yeah, I couldn't push up on it. That was like the final test. Wow. That was sort of the thing I couldn't, I couldn't use it at all before. But yeah, for me, the rehab, it took a lot of time, and it was millimeter by millimeter, but I'm better, so I'm very appreciative of the old rehab clinic. And like you said, I pay 490 yen a pop. That's like $3, and that's for a proper.
It's nothing.
And that's for a full therapeutic works session. I get to talk with her about rugby and stuff. It's awesome.
And they're usually young and handsome or beautiful. But yeah, so I was
matronly in my case, but yeah.
Well, my therapist was a 21-year-old girl, hot girl.
And you stopped going after 3 weeks? I'd be creating new injuries.
I felt sorry for her. I was like, this poor woman is forced to touch me,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I felt sorry for her, and no, seriously, I was like, I don't want to subject this woman to any more torture. So, no, but honestly, I also didn't feel like it was really helping me at all.
Well, yeah. I was there for months doing it, and it did work, but it took a very long time. I'm so happy for you that you figured something out that just like made it get better like that. Wow. That is really great.
But I've always believed in just hanging from the bar. Like for years, literally years now, I've just been hanging from a bar, just letting the body hang, and then doing pull-ups, and little by little. I mean, I'm seriously saying little by little, my pull-ups have improved, which has always been the most difficult thing for me. I think if you are a professional, you don't end as long as the patients have good hygiene. Oh, yeah, don't. Yeah.
I think they're pretty good, but yeah. Yeah, so, okay, so I feel like this is indeed a very Oyaji conversation. We're talking about our old people injuries and
Well, here's the thing about this.
Yeah.
When I went to that rehabilitation center, everyone was so effing old. I was like, Jesus Christ! I think I'm now old because I'm the youngest person in this room, except for the staff. The staff was all young, but all the patients were like in their 70s or 80s, and I thought, oh my God, this is horrible. I mean, I felt like, I guess this means I'm actually old now.
Well, I did it at a sports clinic, and so they were all sort of athletes and stuff coming in there. So
Oh, okay.
that was kind of cool. But it was the same sort of. There were elderly people there as well. But yeah, and by the way, on this, so when I do Muay Thai, one thing that the Thais do that I don't know
Yeah.
if this is scientifically, it seems to be true that whenever you're like completely gassed out, when you've got like when you cannot breathe after you've done like 3 minutes of straight kicking and punching, they always tell you in the break when you go on the break and you put your hands around you're gasping for air and you put your hands down. They always say no, you have to put your hands above your head during the break. And the idea is it's partly it stretches out your lungs naturally, and it focuses all the blood on the chest. So for them it builds fitness. So I actually walk over to the monkey bar thing, and I hang from it in the breaks in between rounds just to stretch out my lungs to increase my oxygen capacity. So I do that. It's actually I do that as well. It's great.
Well, Hiko, I mean, no, none of this. But your Instagram videos always make me think, well, this guy looks like he's in great shape.
Yeah, I'm doing okay, but I respect what you're like. I say, I think you're actually doing it like the right way, and I'm very impressed. And I'm thinking I've got to work in some more muscle stuff.
I'm not exactly where I want to be exactly, but I think I'm doing okay. You know, I can do 70-kilogram bench presses really slow, 3 sets, 10. But really, so I do the pause, which means you go down and you pause for 1 second, and then you go up again. And that's complete. It's a complete game changer. That thing. But I'm doing great. You know. Yeah, feeling good. But the funny thing is, every time I go to the gym with my ankle weights, and I grab onto the bar, I can hear my bones uncoupling. Bump, 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 bump. But it feels great.
That's probably a good thing.
No, it's good. I mean, I'm still sad that it's still happening because I feel like okay, that means my bones are still not. They still want to be scrunched together, but I don't have any more pain. I can walk like I told you a couple of months ago. I was in such bad sciatica pain with my nerves were being squeezed. I could not even walk. It was horrible.
Victor,
I'm in great shape.
So it is funny. It is a sign. You know that you're getting on when "How are you?" takes 15 minutes.
Yes.
But Dan H keep bringing us back onto focus. He's asking, "How was the road rage incident?"
Yeah, so I was completely embarrassed by that. So in case of those of you who have not seen on my one of my last videos, the second to last video uploaded, I was taking my son to pick up my in-laws, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, as I do almost every weekend. I do this. This is like a habit, and this is the one time for some bizarre reason my son likes to get up early and come with me. Your mic sounds terrible.
Yeah, you sound like you're sort of screaming into like a drive-through thing. It's too maxed out. You got to lower the level a little bit.
I'll go to settings, audio, reduce mic. How about this?
It's better now. Even just having the mic away from your mouth a little bit. It's a bit like when you're shouting into a mic and it's pressed up against your mouth.
Is this better? Is this better now?
That is better. Okay.
I just turned it away from me a little.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that, but thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, I completely lost it. I was in a great mood. I was talking to my son. We were having a good time, and we went to an intersection, and we missed the light, so we were just waiting there. And then a few seconds later, a motorcycle came up behind me, and I didn't even notice. But I know he wasn't there beforehand. And then he beeped. But he beeped like he just sat on his horn like ah, and I'm like oh, and I looked at the light. Oh, the light's green.
Yeah.
I missed the light, so I turned and it was green. But as I was turning, I could see it turning to red.
Yeah.
And then
you asshole.
Yeah, I looked behind me and I could see he was stuck, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, man, you missed the light because of me."
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie. But then I saw him just say "fuck it," and he just ran the red light.
Yeah,
and chased me.
The adrenaline going.
Yeah, and he was pissed off, and I knew he was pissed off. So as he passed me, I thought he's going to be pissed off. So I'm like, oh fuck, I knew he was pissed off. So I just put up my middle finger.
Yeah, just de-escalate. Just let it. Let him have his moment. You flipped him off, right? Okay.
But he already had his finger up because he's riding a motorcycle, right? So he's got to prepare, right? So he had his finger up too, which was amazing. And I was like, oh, I'm impressed. I was actually kind of impressed that he had his finger up before I did.
I suspect he wasn't on the same page at this point. However, yeah,
I was
continue.
like ready to let it go because I knew I had fucked up by but I had not done anything illegal. Anyway, and then he just got in front of my car and brake checked me.
Yeah.
Which I forgot what is the Japanese for that? I always forget the.
So when you brake checking, I think of brake checking as being not completely stopping and pulling you over. It's actually just driving deliberately slowly in front of you, or suddenly putting on the brakes to see if you'll crash into the back of them.
Yeah, exactly. Suddenly putting on the brakes and crashing. Yeah.
Oh, so he didn't stop. He was still just going slowly. So what Japanese talk about for road rage,
he stopped. He pressed the brakes and I had to suddenly stop.
I guess that is kind of brake checking. I always think of brake checking though, like when you see YouTube videos of it, it's people on the highway who like don't stop, but they deliberately drive, slowly and whatever in front. They try to block someone. Japanese, they say aori unten is the thing about, which is the swaying kind of action that road rage people sort of do in Japan to express, anger or whatever, and to intimidate people. But it's brake checking is a subset of that, I suppose. But this guy actually like totally stopped and pulled you over, right?
Well, no, he forced me to suddenly hit my brakes,
Yeah.
Or I run into him. And then he backed up. Then he got. If you see the video, he's actually behind me when the video actually starts.
Yeah.
And then we get to the next intersection. And I jump out of the car and I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like, I'm sorry.
By the way, clarifying question from Dan H. Are you sure this wasn't Tikyo Sam?
I don't follow what Tikyo Sam is doing these days, so I don't know. If he does that kind of thing, does he do that?
He motorcycles. I don't know if he brake checks and road rages, but he does motorcycle.
Yeah.
But okay, so he's pulled over. You get out. What the fuck are you doing? Right? That's you walking towards him. I got right in front
of his car, and he starts revving up, and he starts moving forward. But I'm right in front of him, so I quickly, almost automatically, without thinking, I take his keys.
Oh, wait a minute. So he brake checked you, and then you got in front of his motorcycle, and he's revving. Is that
to confront him? Say, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Right, but
son in my car.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I told him right away. I said, I'm sorry. I missed the light. That was my fault.
But he's revving his motorbike, right?
Yeah, and he's like pushing forward. So to stop him from going forward into me, I took his keys.
Oh, wow. I didn't pick that up. I watched your video on 2 versions of the story, but I didn't get that part of the story. I got that you went and took his keys. I didn't get that you were kind of human brake checking him, and he was revving and pushing, and he was actually pushing his bike into you.
Yes.
That's kind of, that's assault there. That means he assaulted you first.
Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know if he was trying to assault me or just trying to run away or just trying to intimidate me. But I thought to myself, I'm very clever.
Yeah.
Keys.
As you do. So you're basically just trying to de-escalate the situation. You took his keys out of his bike, right?
And then he said, "Give me my keys back," and I said, "No." He said in Japanese. I said, "No" in English.
Yeah.
And then he attacked me, and he tried to get into the car.
Yeah.
Take my keys, and he slammed the car door, and it was very violent with the car door.
And at this point, again, sorry, let me interject with commentary and adding here. So, Little Vic, who, by the way, was amazingly like, oh my God, is he okay? Like, he was so chill through the whole thing. But this stranger in a motorcycle helmet broke into your car with your son there in the passenger seat trying to take your keys, right?
Right.
Okay.
So that made me go psycho. So I was like, fuck off, and I grabbed him. And then you can
so now for the first time you're angry.
No, I basically picked him up and moved him towards the back of the car, and you can see me throwing him into the bushes.
Yeah, I can see in the background, so on the drive cam video where it's got little Vic just totally chill there, and there's a bit of a noise and a kerfuffle, and then you can see from the back of the car you sort of pushing the guy back, and you can sort of see you squabbling, physically struggling with the guy.
From a physical point of view, I'd have to say I guess I'm pretty proud of myself that I was able to easily toss him around like salad, so nothing.
Well, you said you could bench press 70 kilos, so that's probably about the average Japanese man. You could have Hulk Hogan'd him right there.
Yeah. That was nothing. But as soon as I was done, I was like, oh, okay. It was so easy that I kind of felt bad. So I said, look, I just want to go pick up my Jichan Bachan. I told him, let's just say goodbye. We both overreacted. But he's like, you punched me. Like, I didn't punch you. I just pushed your helmet, you know. But he had a helmet that was connected to his phone.
Yeah.
He could somehow, I don't know how he did it, but he could call the police. He called the police from his helmet.
Yeah.
And before I knew it, he was calling the police, and I automatically felt like, oh, he's got the upper hand because he's calling the police first, even though I feel like he's the one who, you know, did the illegal thing first by brake checking me and
yeah. And like moving his bike forward into you. I mean, lawyer me says you get him for that as well. But yeah, you took his keys and you physically accosted him. And you pushed him around and stuff. You didn't punch him or anything like that. But but he's calling the police first, and he's saying that there's a crazy Gaijin attacking me. Right.
The first thing he said was, "I've been punched by a Gaijin."
Yeah. Guilty. That's pretty much it right there.
And then as soon as he said that, I thought, oh my God, this is one of those cases where I'm going to go to jail simply because I'm a Gaijin.
Yeah. Among other things. But yeah.
No, but in 33 years, I've never had this kind of situation where I could possibly go to jail just because they're going to believe the other guy. And I was like, oh my God, what do? I just want to go pick up my my in-laws.
Yeah.
And I had a dash cam, but it died a week before this happened.
But you did have the YouTube video, which was recording the whole time.
Yeah, but it was just recording one direction. I did have a dash cam, but it was broken. So
even the YouTube video. I mean, one thing when I was watching it that I was thinking myself, if I was in your situation, and when I know the police are coming up, but for me, the first thing that I would say to the police, just for getting an upper hand in this whole thing, was when it's your word versus his and whatever, you can still say, "Hey, I've got a video of the whole thing." You know, like, are you sure that you want to say what you're saying because I've got everything? You could have thrown that out just to sort of. But anyway, yeah. So continue. So basically, he's called the police. You've been sort of trying to settle down there beside the road, beside the car. But he's called the police on his helmet.
We're waiting for the police, and he's saying really racist shit. Like, I bet you don't even have a license. I bet you don't even have insurance. And I was just getting in pure, and just like, oh fuck, this guy's a real scumbag, you know. And he was wearing earrings too, which kind of bugged me.
Asking for it, yeah.
But his bike was beautiful. He had a beautiful bike. It was in good shape. And I was calmed down after this, and I said, yeah, your bike, it's a beautiful bike. I used to have a bike just like this back in the day. But I didn't answer any of his ridiculous questions about whether I have insurance because of course I do. I have a license. I have insurance. I'm insured up the gazoo. In fact, even if I had run him over, we would have been. We have insurance for that. It probably would have been better. It probably would have been cheaper.
A problem solves itself. Yeah.
But anyway, but I will say that I made a mistake. I mean, in the end, he assaulted me. He assaulted my door. He damaged my car as well. But I felt like I was in a weaker position simply because I was a foreigner in Japan, and I wanted to leave. I didn't want to exchange personal information with him because I knew my wife would be infuriated if she knew that he knew what our address was. Our home address, because if that would have been the cost. I would have had to exchange. So
we should put in. I think we skipped a step here. Let me put in the clarification. Tell me if I'm wrong about this. So the police showed up, and the guy claimed that you'd hit him, and that you had damaged his 60,000 yen helmet, his fancy helmet, even though you had just. But you just open hand pushed the helmet. You didn't punch it. There wasn't a mark on it.
No.
But so he was saying
a scratch on it, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the one. It was such a tiny scratch.
Yeah.
I mean, how could I do that with my hand? You know, my skin. I'm not Colossus. You know.
Yeah. Well, we started the whole thing by how much you've been working out, but no, not even then. So, and the police, so this guy said to the police that, he wants to proceed with charges or whatever unless that guy pays me 60,000 yen for a new helmet.
Yeah.
The police come up to you and they said
60,000 yen plus medical treatment because he
pain and
says
suffering.
his neck is injured.
Yeah.
Right?
And the police just walk over and say, you can exchange information for turning this into a court thing, in which case you have to give all your personal information, your home address, your name, everything to the guy, or you can just pay him 60,000 yen cash right now and settle it. Which to me sounds like the police are almost like it sounds almost corrupt, right? The police are trying to broker, or trying to avoid having to do paperwork.
In 2020, I was thinking the police basically facilitated his extortion. Yeah.
Although this is very common, what you hear about in Japan, that normally it is sort of settled by money, and the police sort of they encourage you to sort of do it.
No, that's basically what happened. No. And when I said, "Look, I've only got 11,000 yen," and I'll give you 10. That's the most I can go. I offered 5 initially, and he said no. And then I thought about my wife, knowing that he has our address, and I know she would just be paranoid knowing that some guy that she doesn't know has our address.
Yeah.
Just to make this go away, I'll just pay 10. And honestly, I mean, Hiko, come on, 10,000 yen.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, that's like a nice night. That's a nice out. That's a nice night out having sushi and a couple of drinks,
By the way, one thing I did want to, when I watched the video, one thing I wanted to ask you at this point, did you check that they were real police officers? Because, some people saying, Mr. Korichep, I mean, it does sound, I know this thing does happen typically with police, but it does sound like a scam. It sounds like the guy called his friends to come as fake police officers and say, you got to pay him $600.
That was a real cop car. I mean, that would have been, that must be his whole scam if that's all he does. He has 2 cop car waiting for him. No, I'm pretty sure they were real. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Aaron teaching a new Japanese word, bensho shite kudasai. That's right. To settlement money. Bensho. Yeah. As opposed to benjo shite kudasai, which is please public toilet me. In which case they would just be confused.
Toilet me, which is also useful. No, the cops gave me at the end. I didn't put this in the video, but I got both of their
other cards,
their numbers, their whatever license.
Oh, that's smart.
And I got them on video. I mean, I didn't put that up there,
but I saw the aftermath. You were feeling a bit like sheepish. You felt like you'd sort of really not given your best response forward in the case, and that you'd sort of.
I felt like if I could have easily said, "Hey, no, you are the one who fucked me over first. You're the one who brake checked me. You're the one who grabbed my car and slammed the door. You've damaged my car as well." I could have easily said all those things.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Big.
Dan, thank you.
From Dan. Yeah. Well, there you go. In exchange for a good story, you've just gotten it covered.
Well, but I would say it's Dan. Thank you. And if you ever come to Japan, I would say it's a tricky situation because someone in my situation will not be. I'm in a solid situation. Well, I have a job. I have family who depends on me. I have a house. I own a house. Physically own a house. So it would be hard to deport me. But I mean, I've heard of people who get deported for things like this. So
yeah, no, that's right. And there's something as well. Having done a job where I was paid by the hour, a good amount of money, like where effectively selling my brain by the hour, but and my body as well. I guess I was trapped at work. You could say I was selling my body by the hour for 6 years of my life. It does make you think.
What were you doing?
I was a lawyer. My rate was that of what I imagine an expensive prostitute would be. At least in terms of, I didn't get the money, the firm got the money. So, the pimp keeps all the money, but yes.
The pimp, right.
But it does give you a perspective when you think of, okay, what is this going to cost me? And, how much of my life is this going to cost me? Like, how much of my time will this take, and how much do I value my time? And from this perspective, when you think if you had exchanged details and dragged this out, how much time and stress it would have caused, 10,000 yen, you think about, how much work, how much work you'd do for 10,000 yen. You get that back pretty fast. If you think of it that way, I think it was a pretty efficient transaction, although I get the feeling, unsatisfied about it. There is a thing. You said yourself on the video, you asked the internet and you gave an answer, which we will give here as well. But before you do, to the comment section, you did this as a, am I the asshole? You told the story. And I'm just going to think, let me present the case for the other guy just for a moment so that we can do this. So,
please,
so the case that you were an asshole here, first of all, nobody likes having some old guy miss the traffic light, sitting there asleep at the wheel, and notice at the last minute, leaving them trapped there. So first of all, anyone would be frustrated in that situation. Second thing, you're in the wrong clearly, and the guy pulls up alongside you, understandably frustrated, and you flip him off. Again, you could have just ignored him. You could have just let it go at that point or said sorry or waved or whatever, but you flipped him off. So he kept being angry.
That's true.
And then when he pulled in front of you, which he shouldn't have done, but when he did, you got out and you not only got in front of him, but you took his keys. At which point you left him you could have just sort of sat there and again waved and let it go. But, you basically forced him into confronting you physically because he couldn't ride his bike anymore. So you kind of left in a situation, and look, he shouldn't have gone for your keys, especially in a car with a kid in it and everything. But you sort of opened the argument that it's that you're in the wrong, or at least that you're the ass on the situation, is this is something where you could have just sort of sat there and let it go. And you didn't let it go.
Yeah, I should have let it go.
But at the same time, I mean, this guy's clearly an asshole as well, who overreacted to a stupid traffic light incident. So, I believe me, I'm most sympathetic to you, but putting it out there, comment section. Am I the asshole? The old Reddit thread. What's the vote?
Yeah.
We should leave a moment there for people. I mean, you'll give your conclusion in a minute, but I'm just,
Well, I think I would agree that I'm completely an asshole, except for the one mitigating factor, which was that my son was in the car with me.
Yeah.
And that made me probably react a little overprotective. I was a little more overprotective than I possibly would have been. But it's hard to tell. Maybe I would have been the same. Maybe if I'd been alone, I would have been the same.
But to me as well, it makes the other guy even more of an asshole as well. Breaking into a car with a kid in it that he could see is just unthinkable to me as well. So I don't know. And the fact that the guy lied about the damage to the helmet, it was just trying to extort you for money. So he was clearly a scumbag. I mean, just the way that he handled that just shows that this guy was a scumbag.
When he took the 10,000, I said, I hope you drink. I hope you have some good drinks with that. And he goes, I will. And he was so happy. He was so happy to have it. I think he was.
It just feels dirty.
Yeah. And then I didn't think much of it until I got to my in-laws' house and I told them the story. Yeah. And they were like, "Oh, you got played. This guy completely took you." Yeah. And not to belittle my in-laws, but they are not the most savvy street smart people you'd ever meet. They're the kind of people you'd have to worry about when you the ore sagi type of stuff. Yeah. They're the type of people who get played by that. Yeah. They get fooled they're the people who fall for over the phone scams. But the fact that they were telling me that I got scammed made me think, oh shit, I did.
Well, I think you in the circumstances, I think 10,000 for the piece of it being done with or whatever is actually a pretty good outcome in a way. Although I get the unsettling part of it. Also, even with that, I always think about one way the advice I give to people at work who are dealing with stress imposed on them is I always say, don't focus on what the other person is or isn't or what they did. Just focus on yourself. In the end of the day, you can only control, your own end of it.
So the funny thing is, my wife was furious when I told her about it. And she thought I had traumatized little Victor. Yeah. And she talked to little Victor, and he said, were you scared? And he goes, no, not at all. I was fine. But if you look at the video, he's
the star of the video.
He
As you
doesn't
can
even
hear.
phone.
Yeah. Yeah, just to be clear, the video which you have to go watch. This video. It's on Give Me a Flake Man, right?
Give me a break. Give me a
Laundry
break,
video.
man.
It's on Give Me a Break Man. Okay. But most of it's just sort of audio. It's all happening off camera. You can hear the shouting and the scuffling and the bumping and stuff. And little Victor's there watching everything. He's the most chill kid. Yeah, no, he's fine. He's
just looking at the video. He's just sitting there. She's like, he doesn't even do this. Like, what's going on back there? It's amazing.
Yeah. No, so you did a good job with him. He's a very zen kid by the looks of it.
I guess.
So yeah.
I don't know. I still.
But look, to me, okay.
It's fine. It's fine if honestly, my son will often say he's told me, Dad, I think I'm smarter than you. No, he's told me that, and I'm like, you're right, son. You are smarter than me.
It's good for him to think that.
I hope you remain smarter than me. It's fine.
Yeah.
And my daughter thinks I'm an idiot because she says, Mama's Japanese is better than Papa's Japanese. So Papa's not so smart. So yeah. So I'm the second smartest person in the family. But it's fine. Well,
third if she believes a big brother, but yeah.
I mean, I as any narcissistic YouTuber would love to continue talking about themselves. I do want to give you guys a lot of information about what's happening in Japan right now, because I have some questions for Hikosaemon about Kishida resigning. What's happening with Kishida? Is he resigning?
Well, first, look, just to close out, I just made the whole case for the other guy, and I just want to be clear. The other guy was clearly the asshole, if you ask me. I mean, and you getting out and him pushing his bike into you and then trying to stick you up for 60,000 yen. I mean, you could have stayed in the car and been a wuss like me, but I respect that you actually, did something. That's what I respect about you in general, is that you actually do have a sense of righteousness about this sort of thing. And the other guy was a scumbag. What you did was nothing. So, to be clear, I don't feel too bad about it. And I think you did the right thing. I think you did the only thing you could do at the end of the day. So, on that. But anyway, on Kishida.
Yeah, what's happening with him?
He did a Joe Biden kind of. He didn't resign. He just said he's not going to run for re-election as the LDP party president. And the LDP party president is automatically the prime minister when the LDP is the main party in government.
Okay.
So I think the election's going to be in, is it late October or something like that? It's near to the US election, actually. They're going to have an internal, it's just people in the government, in the LDP party are just going to vote for a new party president who will become the new PM. And he's just said, when we have that election, which has always been scheduled, it's always going to happen at the state, he says, I'm not going to run. I'm just going to let all you other guys run and have fun with it. So he effectively said that, he's not going to extend his term as PM, which he would have to do. It's a re-election, but it's only within the party. And the result is the biggest ever field of candidates in history, I believe. You have to have 20 supporters back you to be able to run for the LDP president.
Oh, really?
And there's something like 8 people in the running for it. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah.
Okay. But that's not happening for a couple of months yet.
A couple of months, yeah. So they're all sort of starting and trying to get their supporters and everything together now. 2 months, I think. Yeah.
Oh, Hiko, I heard about this thing called Torakamo or something.
Torakamo?
Yeah, maybe I've got the Japanese wrong, but there's an expression now that's if Trump wins expression.
Oh, I think I saw some news article mentioning that. I mean, I don't know that that's actually a thing. That just sounded like something a reporter made up. But I think I saw that.
So apparently, this is like
Moshitora or something. Yeah.
Yeah, Moshitora. Yeah. That's it. Moshi means if, and Tora means Trump. So Moshitora. Let me just type that up. Moshitora. We'll have to look this up, but Moshitora means if Trump wins.
Right.
But apparently Trump said when he becomes president again, he will fix the yen-yasu problem. And
he said he would fix the cheap yen problem?
Yeah. Well,
how?
we have a yen-yasu problem right now, right? So
as
soon as he said that, actually the yen rose in price.
Was that Trump?
Yeah. So
I
I
thought that
was,
was the Bank of Japan governor said that he was going to increase. He just increased interest rates, and it reacted to that. I didn't know that had anything to do with Trump. Did they have
well,
something?
I was told that it was a complete result of his just uh, statement. And I was impressed with that result. I was like, wow, just him speaking made the markets react, which, I can understand because he's a possible next president. So,
Yeah.
um,
And depending on your opinion of American IQs, he's almost a certainty.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you very much. What's this? I'm really thinking about GPN. That makes, yeah. So, by the way, if you want to come to Japan, this is the best time to come right now. It's so cheap if you have the dollar. It's so
Yeah.
amazingly
It's
cheap.
gone a
Yeah.
little bit more. It got all the way to 160. So right now it's at
Yeah.
about 147. So
It's
it
still a
is
great
a
deal
little bit
though.
more expensive, but it still is. The normal yen rate is 110. So right now it still is a 30-40% discount on
It's a
everything
great
in the country
deal.
right now. It was like 50% before.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
It's a
Uh,
great deal. Yeah. I would definitely come here.
yeah.
Anyway, so camel toe hasn't exactly demonstrated much of anything. Uh, okay, so we're gonna call her camel toe. You're not gonna
It's
say
not.
Kamala Harris. Okay. No, well, she hasn't accomplished anything, but she's not a convict.
It's winning
she,
by doing nothing.
she hasn't
She-
been judged in a court of law to have raped anyone, so that's another plus, I would think, that we want from our leaders. But but
Yeah.
that's a subjective opinion, of course. Um, but no, so Hiko, I had a couple things to ask you. Yeah,
Yeah,
what
sure.
you told me. I was shocked to hear that Massachusetts has outlawed K cars. I
Yeah.
can't.
In addition, New York and a couple of other states already have banned them, but Massachusetts this week voted to themselves ban K cars.
And what is the reasoning behind that?
Just that they're death traps. They are too small and too fragile for being around big American cars on American highways.
So you can buy them and use them, but not on the highways.
As I understand, it's a statewide ban. You cannot like register a K car in Massachusetts. They're an
Wow.
illegal car. It's kind of funny. You can own a gun, but not a K car.
So I don't know if you know this, but I lived in Massachusetts for 2 years in Newton.
I did not
Yeah,
know that.
as a boy, and
Yeah.
it was one of some of my best times in my life of my life. Some of my most fond childhood memories were in Newton, Massachusetts. Yeah.
Does that make you like part Irish?
No,
Oh,
but Newton, by the way, Newton is infamous for being the city in the U.S. that has the most what do you call them? Leaders from other countries who have fled. What do you call those people?
oh, um, not exactly asylum, but I know what you mean. So basically,
So anyone who's
in
lost their
exiled leaders, in exile.
exiled,
Yeah,
yeah, exiled
yeah,
leaders, yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
Newton, for some weird reason, Newton is the number one, and it's a tiny city, yeah.
yeah.
But I have very, very nice memories of that. So I was very surprised to hear that about Massachusetts itself.
When I was a kid,
We really loved it. We really enjoyed living there.
so my dad was New Zealand didn't used to have an officer cadet school. Like West Point for the New Zealand Army was they'd send them to the Australian West Point, and my dad
Oh,
actually set up the first West Point in New Zealand. But
oh,
when I was a
really?
kid growing up, he was at officer cadet school in Australia, and he was at the International Academy. So they would have all these military officers sent from Friends of Australia, so like from Fiji, from Pakistan, from India. It's kind of funny because Pakistan and India are always having wars with each other. But they're guys who are now senior army guys were like classmates with my dad. There was another guy when I was a kid. Apparently, we'd have the family barbecues and everything with all the
Hmm.
classmates from the West
Hmm.
Point class of officers. And there was a nice guy from Fiji called Steve. Steve, I found out later, became Sitiveni Rambuka, who committed 4 coups d'etats in Fiji later on. He was my dad's classmate, and he would show up to like family barbecues. So it's kind of funny who you meet in places sometimes.
Wow. So
Yeah.
did he kill people? I guess so, right?
I mean, Fiji, I don't know that people died in any of the coups. The army did take over, and maybe some people died. I don't know. He personally killed people, but but Fiji military isn't messing around. They actually protect the border between Israel and Lebanon. They're the peacekeepers there. If you've seen their rugby team, you'll understand. They're crazy warriors.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they're. So I don't know. It's exile leader's story. He's no longer president of Fiji, but yeah, he overthrew the government 4 times, which makes my dad think he didn't do his homework properly at the officer cadet training school.
That's amazing. Hey, so other thing I wanted to ask you about today was, what did you think of the Olympics?
I didn't really follow it all that much, to tell you the truth. I sort of,
I'm surprised.
I know I'm normally into it, but I guess I was working and I don't really watch that much TV anymore. Normally I just have the TV on and the Olympics on all the time. But on the internet, I was just following whatever the conversation was on the internet. So yeah, I don't know. It seemed like it was pretty successful as things go. Japan did really well. But I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion.
Did you follow the Algerian boxer Iman Khalif controversy?
Yes. Yeah, I did. So I was under the impression when that first came up, I was under the impression that she was trans. And everyone was saying, this is a man beating up a woman. This is wokeness gone crazy. And then I found out, no. She was born a woman, has lived her whole life as a woman, is from a country where being trans is specifically outlawed. It just happens that she has a medical condition that some women have that is considered maybe intersex, that she does have a Y chromosome. Right. But she's like for all the bits and for gender and for birth, she's never transitioned or anything. She's a born, grown up, lived as a woman. Right. And so people are trying to, paint this like it's a man beating up women, but she's a woman. So I don't even understand how that became a controversy. It was just people made it into an issue that they wanted to have.
Well, yeah, apparently because she's the XY chromosome, some people automatically register in their brains as a man, But
I mean, having a vagina is a pretty,
Yeah. Here's the thing: if you were, it's not a cut and dry deal. But if you were born with a vagina,
yeah.
I mean,
that's what most of the rednecks who are having opinions on this, she would probably pass their test, right? I mean, the chromosome thing is not a visible, sign of anything.
Yeah, well, she was born with a vagina. She was raised as a woman. No one ever suspected she was anything but a woman, except she was obviously. Let's say in retrospect we see now that she had XY chromosomes, but IBA. But here's the thing:
if she had a Russian IPA, that would make anyone change genders,
But it's a very interesting problem. It is. We could argue that it's not fair to her opponents because she has, but just because you have XY doesn't mean you actually have testosterone, a testosterone advantage. It doesn't mean you have testicles. It just means your DNA is different.
Yeah.
So. It's not a clear and cut case, but at the same time, she did nothing. She did not go out of her way to change her body in any way to gain any advantage over her opponents. So I would argue that it would be as equally unfair to her to block her from competing as it is unfair to anyone else to block her.
And because, first of all, I misunderstood the issue. I saw this being raised. Everyone was saying, this is a man beating up a woman at the Olympics, and I was kind of like, wow, that sounds terrible. And then I found out it's not that at all. Then there is more nuance. So apparently, while boxing doesn't, first of all, the International Boxing Association is actually banned by the Olympics because of all the corruption and match fixing and whatever, and it's now
apparently
dominated
the Russians are quite
Russians or whatever
involved. Yeah.
But in a lot of sports, when they have their criteria for whether they recognize an athlete as male or female, other sports, not boxing, but other sports, I think like some track and field or something, they do have things where having a Y chromosome and having testosterone above a certain level, they will require you to take like testosterone suppressors in order to compete or something like as a woman or whatever. So there are rules in other sports by which this would be more of a controversy, but under boxing rules, at least by the Olympic boxing rules, there's no dispute that she's a woman.
Right. Right.
So, you know, and it's being played up that some people saying, oh, this is the Russians just trying to mess with the Olympics. I don't necessarily know that it's even that. I think it's just the IBA being dicks themselves.
I don't think it's the Russians.
Yeah.
But, you know, there was a case a few years ago of a runner named Semenya. Do you know about her?
Not sure. By the way, I just want to call out, Believe in Yourself just gave you 20,000 dongs.
Oh.
He's just laid them on the table.
Wow. Well, thank you. What are 20,000 dongs?
It's Vietnamese currency. I have no idea what that's worth, but he always likes to donate. He always likes to give dong.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Believe in Yourself. I'm quite impressed by that. Sorry.
It's distracting.
I suddenly started thinking about the pole vaulter whose
Oh,
got caught on the crossbar.
yes. Serious Vietnamese currency issue with that pole vault. Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes you can win by losing.
Yeah. So he was offered $250,000 by some porn site to show his dong, which I would say is it's just pretty positive. But I don't think I would do that myself. Although it's a lot of money, but I think we kind of like once you accept the money, you're basically buying into that life forever. Yeah. You're the guy who sold your rights to your penis.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, so since you raised it, if someone said they wanted to pay you $250,000 to put your dong on the internet, what would you do, Victor?
I wouldn't do it because that would mean that my entire career would be based from now on that me selling pictures of my dong. I think I could make more money selling English lessons. And
long term, you're probably right. Although it's a lot of money. I mean, 250 is you could retire on that.
Well, that's not a lot of money when you have two kids.
True. Yeah. No, I think that's right. Yeah.
I mean, I would be able to pay off my house and go on vacation to Hawaii, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But that is a lot of money. But he's 21 years old. But yeah, once you make that choice,
Yeah. No, I see that.
You're in that world forever.
Yeah.
I mean,
you talk about someone who's not in danger of an adverse gender test. I'd say that guy's probably.
Oh yeah. What did you think of Harris taking over the Biden? Did you have any opinion as a non-American? You heard about Biden dropping out and Harris taking over.
I saw the first debate. I mean, well, it's kind of funny. The first debate was probably the worst U.S. presidential debate performance in history. And between,
I heard all about it though.
It was a disaster. He looked like he didn't know where he was half the time. And then the assassination thing and Trump surviving the assassination. And when the assassination thing happened, I was like, okay, it's still 3 months away, but this is like over. This is just painful to watch,
Yeah, I remember we talked about that. And it was basically I think you told me it's basically Trump's going to win.
Yeah, there was no other way, right? It was dead and buried. So it's at least from the outside, like if this is going to dominate my news cycle, I at least want it to be interesting. And I mean, essentially, let's face it, American presidential politics is basically a horrible reality TV show that we're all just forced to watch for much longer than we want it to go on. And so, from that perspective, just switching the contestant partway through and making it interesting again. And it is kind of funny how like the whole media cycle and the whole conversation, it kind of reset everything, right? So it's kind of now Kamala's to mess up, but at the same time, Trump, it was all sewed up, it was all done with. And at least now it looks like it's more interesting. So I am appreciative of that. I know nothing about her, but at the same time, I mean, honestly, I would take a wet cabbage probably over having a convicted felon be U.S. president. So, and having the first woman president and black woman president and Indian woman president and all of that all at once, I mean, that seems worthwhile. But there again, I don't know anything about her, so we'll see. But at least it's more interesting. I'm just thankful if we're forced to watch your stupid politics.
Right. At least she's not a convict, and Trump is. I have to say that it's really torn up my family. I have one sister who's completely anti-Harris. And she even emailed, she goes, how do you know she's not a Marxist? Because her father was a Marxist. And it just seems like a ridiculous question to me.
Some of my best friends are Marxists. I don't care, like, what's wrong?
It's not like, even
the 1950s want their political ideology back,
Even if she were a Marxist, she herself is not going to change American politics just by being a Marxist.
The thing is, I mean, when they want to say someone's a Marxist in America, they say, oh, just like Bernie Sanders, just a communist Marxist. Bernie Sanders, if you put Bernie Sanders in any European country or Australia or New Zealand, he would be so far right of everyone else. What he's asking for in terms of like medical care, what he's asking for America is so much less than what everyone already has in Canada and Europe and New Zealand and Australia. He's pro-gun. He's like, Bernie Sanders is far right in most countries. Like, I don't think America even understands what left and right really is. So yeah. But there again, like I said, I don't care. I don't want to watch it. I'd prefer to not even know that America is having an election. But if you force me to watch it, make it interesting. And I appreciate that Harris has made it interesting where it was not interesting. It was just horrible before.
Well, we should definitely have, let's commit to this right now. Let's do another 2.5 Oyajis on the night after Harris and Trump do their debate.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to see that. And apparently she's not that great at debating, and Trump is. So I am very curious to see how that will go. Well, and can Trump attack her on anything other than the fact that she's not white? We'll see.
Yeah.
Because he struggled with that so far, which is unbelievable to me. There's so many things you could say. So yeah, I'd have to say.
But I've seen her. I don't know if you remember this, but she destroyed Biden.
When? Oh yeah, I don't remember, but yeah.
When she was debating against Biden, she took him down pretty badly. And I wasn't interested in her at all, and I've never actually been a big fan. But when she did that, I thought, wow, this woman's tough. She's cool. She basically said, "You're old. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. You're old."
Wow, everyone should have listened.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, we'll see. So. Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I'll love to do a debrief. I mean, my opinion doesn't matter for anything. I'm a New Zealander who can't vote in New Zealand, but yeah, sure.
By the way, some new J-Vlog news. I just saw today on Facebook that Chris abroad in Japan
just opened a bar.
Yeah, so you got to go down there and you got to make a video.
I'd love to. I hope he'll let the little people like us go there and do a party there sometime or something. But
that'd be great. Why not? We could do that.
I'd love to do that. We should do a YouTube party there or something if you'll have us. But man, you talk about a model of success in Japan YouTube. I mean, him and Charla like married together and doing it. Man, they
are they married?
They're married. I think they're married. I'm pretty sure they're married.
Oh, well, great. I didn't know that.
But that is the dream, right? They're basically, I couldn't imagine, I could hardly imagine greater success, right? Like he's actually in regular media as well as, and he's got his videos exceed television production levels and stuff, and his followers, and it's amazing his success.
Really?
So, yeah, it's inspiring.
I've got to check him out. I haven't seen any of his videos, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I just know
they're like TV shows. Laura says not yet married. Okay, I think they're engaged or something. They announced that anyway.
Okay. Well, great. But I'm impressed that he opened up a bar in was it Shibuya?
Shibuya, yeah.
That is a very price area. So yeah.
Yeah, and actually, that's right. There's a rent is high, so to be successful there, you've got to be good. So he's put himself. It's awesome. It's a great location. It's a great looking bar.
Crosshairs of life, because that is not. It doesn't matter how good your YouTube videos are. That's a different world. So
living the dream.
I wish him luck, and I hope he does well. And I'd like to check it out. And maybe I will. I haven't been in Tokyo for a while, so I'd like to get down there before. This will maybe be a good excuse.
Yeah, actually,
But,
yeah. Yeah, we should see.
Let's hold on. When is Harris and Trump debate? When is that?
I have no idea. I wish I.
It's gonna be.
So it's gonna be on ABC, right?
They agreed. I don't know when though.
We've got like another 90 days to fill or something. I mean, it's a ridiculously long cycle.
I want to see it. Well, we'll figure it out.
NH prefers Rachel and June.
Oh, I have one more thing.
Yeah.
One more question for you. What did you think about Elon Musk and Trump's interview on X? Did you listen to it?
I heard excerpts. I didn't follow the whole thing. I don't know. I don't have much of it.
You're still pretty active on that site, right?
Yeah. On Twitter, I'm pretty active. So I don't know. My take on Elon is that I would love Elon and I would even forgive him for being an asshole if I didn't actually like know so much of what he thinks. If he would just like be a more of a mysterious billionaire, I could forgive him being an asshole.
Me too.
But I'm forced to listen to him all the time, which just makes me like him less and less. So, the fact he had, a very friendly conversation with the guy that he's paying $45 million a month to back his campaign. Do I need to listen to that? I don't know. I mean, they're just sitting there being friends and rambling and agreeing with each other. And Elon wants Kamala on as well, which would be obviously not a smart idea. So I don't know. I love Twitter. I love Tesla and I love SpaceX. I love Elon's businesses.
Hey,
I would love him if I didn't know him.
Today, for the first time ever, I saw a Tesla taxi in Nagoya.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Have you seen them in Tokyo?
Not a taxi, no. I mean, I know that there are private taxi drivers. I used to get into Toyota Centuries and stuff, so it makes sense if you're a private driver, you'd probably attract riders that way.
Okay.
Although you'd have the downtime for charging, I suppose. So there's a little bit of an inefficiency. But yeah, you could probably get a lot of riders. By the way, people are saying 10th of September is the Harris debate.
10th of September, what day is that? Let me look at my map there.
10th of September is a Tuesday. Although it'll be a Wednesday here, I guess.
Oh, I'm just Google. I mean,
your birthday.
My birthday is the 11th of September, so
that's right.
The 14th probably is doable. I mean, I'll probably have dinner before, that early, but my kids will, they go to sleep. So let's say the 14th then.
Yeah.
September 14th.
Today. Yeah.
Okay, great. So next Oyajis is September 14th.
Yeah. Aaron saw a Tesla truck a couple of days ago in Indiana. It looked fucking weird. I would love to drive one, although they do look ridiculous. They're probably part of the reason that K cars are being made outlawed in most parts of America because they're so ridiculously huge and heavy and stuff. But I'd like to drive one.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Well, have you ever driven a Tesla?
Oh yeah. I've driven the Y, the 3, the X.
They are such a pleasure to drive.
Yeah,
I test drove one, and I was like so impressed. Like, oh my god, this doesn't even feel like a car. It feels like you're in a spaceship.
Yeah, it feels like you're in a go-kart.
It's hugging you, and it's so solid. It was amazing.
So I haven't driven the S, but I've driven all the other models. The one thing I'd say about the 3 and the Y, the popular models, is that they are great, but when you're on the highway, they are surprisingly noisy.
Oh, really?
They rattle a lot. So even though the engine's quiet,
I did not go on the highway, but I did rev it up on normal streets.
But the acceleration and stuff is crazy fun, and for overtaking and starting at the traffic lights and stuff, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll look.
Okay, we've got our next 2.5 Oyaji show.
Okay, 14. Great. Well, because it's my birthday, maybe we'll do it on this channel again. But
Oh, Erin saw the Semi. When she said she saw a huge truck, I thought she meant the Cybertruck, which to me is a huge truck, but she actually saw the Semi. Okay, well, that's cool. I'd be curious to see that as well.
There's a Semi out there? I didn't know that.
There is a Tesla Semi truck, apparently.
Oh, an 18-wheeler?
Some many wheels, I imagine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for joining in tonight. I appreciate it.
back on my channel, I'm gonna do the regular DJ set with you guys picking the tracks. So I'm gonna do an after party for anyone interested. So come back onto my channel if you want to hear some music.
Please check out Hikosaemon's channel if you don't know. Hikosaemon, check that out on YouTube, and he's gonna be doing a live show in a few minutes.
Yep. So I'll go set that up now, and good to do another 2.5 Oyajis. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, man. I'm always happy to see you. And I gotta get out to Tokyo, man. Maybe we'll hit up that bar together.
We'll go take over Chris Board's bar. And
yeah, that'd be cool. All right,
that'd be awesome.
Good night, man.
Okay, see ya.
Good night, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.